top 5 things stopping your American dream. You do everything you're supposed to. You work hard, you play by the rules, maybe you put in the extra hours, you make sacrifices, but that feeling of getting ahead, of financial security, of finally making it, it feels like it's getting further away and not closer. It's like the goalposts move every time you get near them. You see a system that seems to reward everyone but the people trying to do the right things. Well, what if I told you that feeling isn't some personal failure? What if it's not your fault at all? What if there are powerful, almost invisible systems designed to keep you exactly where you are, running on a hamster wheel you can't get off? The facts are undeniable, and they point to a shocking new reality. The classic American dream is no longer a realistic goal for millions, not because people got lazy, but because the game itself is rigged. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the top 5 structural barriers the system forces secretly sabotaging your American dream. Section 1. The crushing weight of a rigged economy. The first and most immediate barrier is the simple, brutal math of our economy. It's that feeling of drowning even when you're treading water as fast as you can. For decades, the deal was simple. Work hard and you could afford a decent life. And that promise is now broken. For the last several years, the average American's pay has failed to keep up with inflation. It's not just a statistic. It means your money just doesn't go as far as it used to, making it impossible for families to save for a house, retirement, or a simple emergency. Your paycheck might have some more dollars, but that doesn't mean you can buy less. For the last several years, the average American's pay has failed to keep up with inflation. It's not just a statistic. It means your money just doesn't go as far, making it impossible for families to save for a house, retirement, or a simple emergency. Your paycheck might have more dollars, but those dollars buy less and less. This is happening while the cost of everything essential has exploded. We're in a housing affordability crisis so severe that home sales have hit nearly 30-year low. As of early 2025, a staggering 75% of U.S. households simply can't afford to buy a medium-priced new home. Let that sink in. 3/4 of the population are locked out of a core piece of the American dream. The median home price has soared to over $416,000, which is about 5 times the median household income, way above the 3-to-1 ratio that's traditionally considered affordable. And it's not just housing. The basic cost of living has become a quiet catastrophe. For a family of 4 to live comfortably, meaning they cover necessities, save for the future, and have a little left over, they need to earn about $9,306 more per year than they did just last year. In a high-cost state like Massachusetts, one analysis found a family needs to earn over $300,000 a year just to be comfortable by 50-30-20 budgeting standards. This kind of economic squeeze creates a debt trap, forcing people onto credit cards just to get by. It's a systematic failure when your hard work gets you less and less, while the cost of basic dignifying life runs away. Section 2. The widening chasm of inequality. The second barrier isn't just about what you earn. It's about the massive and growing gap between the ultra-wealthy and everybody else. The whole idea of the American dream is based on meritocracy. That success is about your talent and effort, not where you start. The data tells a very different story. Since the 1980s, income gains have overwhelmingly gone to the top 1%, while the bottom 90% have seen their wages basically flatline. This wasn't some accident. It is the result of decades of policy choices that favored the rich. The wealth gap between upper income families and the rest isn't just big, it's getting bigger, faster. This concentration of wealth guts social mobility, the very engine of the American dream. Social mobility is the odds that a kid will earn more than their parents. For generations, that was practically a guarantee. Now it's a coin toss. Studies show that your ability to move up the income ladder in your own lifetime has been falling since the 1980s. Where you start is now the biggest predictor of where you'll end up. The system is starting to look less like a ladder and more like a case system, where the advantages of wealth get passed down to tiny few, while everyone else is fighting for the scraps. This isn't meritocracy. It's the slow, quiet death of it, replaced by a system where the rich get richer and everyone else gets stuck. Section 3. The broken ladder of education. For a century, education was supposed to be the great equalizer. It was the surest path to a better life, the one tool that could break the cycle of poverty, but that ladder is broken. Today, our education system often locks in inequality instead of fighting it. A child's social class is one of the single strongest predictors of how well they'll do in school. This starts early and creates lifelong consequences. Students from lower income areas are far less likely to even go to college. It's not about a lack of ambition. It's because the system is starved of resources where they're needed most. Schools in poor neighborhoods are chronically underfunded. This means fewer qualified teachers, older books, and less access to the advanced courses that prepare kids for the modern economy. For example, Black and Latino students are far less likely to have access to advanced STEM courses, which are critical for future success. And it gets worse. The system doesn't just fail to provide opportunity, it can actively punish kids. Black students are suspended and expelled at much higher rates than their white peers for the same exact behaviors, starting as early as preschool. Instead of being places of opportunity, schools can become pipelines of punishments for marginalized students. A system that was supposed to be a gateway to the American dream has become a gatekeeper, deciding who gets a fair shot and who gets left behind before they even start the race. Section 4. The unattainable keystone of homeownership. There's no symbol more powerful in the American dream than owning a home. It's supposed to represent stability, community, and it's the main way middle-class families have built wealth for generations. But for millions, especially young people, that keystone of the dream has crumbled to dust. The barriers are huge and systematic. Home prices have skyrocketed, but it's more than that. Average 30-year mortgage rates in mid-2025 were hovering around 6.6 to 6.8%, more than double what they were just a few years ago. This spike in borrowing costs has slammed the door on millions. To afford a median-price home today, a buyer needs an annual income of over $115,000, a bar that a tiny fraction of renters can actually clear. This has created what some call a mobility freeze. Homeowners who have low mortgage rates are trapped in golden handcuffs because they can't move without their monthly payment exploding. Meanwhile, renters are facing their own crisis, with a national shortage of 7.1 million affordable rental homes for the lowest income families. For every 100 of these households, only 35 affordable homes are even available. This isn't a temporary market dip, it's a structural failure. Restrictive zoning laws choke the supply of affordable housing, which drives up prices and locks in economic segregation. The result is that homeownership, the main vehicle for building generational wealth, is now a privilege for those who are already wealthy. When a society's primary wealth-building tool is out of reach for most people, the dream of moving up becomes a fantasy. Section 5. A system of policies designed to fail you. The final barrier is maybe the most frustrating because it's the one pulling all the strings in the background. The struggles so many of us face are not just bad luck. They are the direct result of decades of policy decisions that have tilted the entire playing field. This is where it all comes together. Government policies allowed income inequality to explode. Cuts to public funding for schools have made education less equal, and a total failure to invest in affordable housing has locked entire generations out of building wealth. These aren't separate problems. They are all connected parts of a system that is no longer built to create prosperity for everyone. Even starting a business, another pillar of the American dream, has gotten harder. Systematic barriers make it incredibly difficult for people without existing wealth or connections to get a new company off the ground. Most Americans, regardless of politics, feel that the super rich have way too much influence on our government, leading to policies that benefit a tiny few at the expense of the many. The system feels rigged because, in so many ways, it is. This is why just trying to work harder isn't enough anymore. You can be the most dedicated person in the world, but you can't outwork a system that is fundamentally stacked against you. And recognizing that isn't about giving up. It's the first step towards demanding real change. It's understanding that the problem isn't you, it's the game itself. In conclusion, so if these massive systems are all working against you, what are you supposed to do? This is where we need to make a radical pivot. The solution isn't just run faster on the hamster wheel, chasing a dream that has become a mathematical long shot for so many. The solution is to redefine the dream. And the cool part is, it's already happening. Recent surveys show a fascinating shift. When you ask people the American dream and what it is today, they're moving away from just money. Freedom of choice, how to live, and a strong family life now rank at the most important things. Wealth is now dead last, with only about 15% saying it's essential. Young people, especially, are trading the white picket fence for mental health and financial stability. This is the real revolution. It's a quiet, personal rebellion against a system that told us our worth is measured by what we can own. It's about rejecting the kind of consumerism that fuels the debt trap. It's about defining success on our own terms through experiences, community, personal growth, and financial security, not extravagant wealth. The 5 barriers we've talked about, the rigged economy, soaring inequality, a broken education system, an impossible housing market, and policy failures are real. But acknowledging them isn't defeatist. It's empowering. It frees you from blaming yourself and lets you see the bigger picture. The old American dream might be dying, but that just gives us a chance to create a new one, a more realistic, a more humane, and a more attainable dream that values well-being over wealth and community over consumption. But this is a conversation that needs to happen out in the open. What does the American dream mean to you in 2025? What barriers have you hit? Share your story in the comments below. Let's show that we're not alone in this, and let's start building our new dream together. Thank you for watching.